to take over the land of Canaan, right? That's the story. Okay. What is the symbolic meaning of this? Well, I give you an example. Okay, to help you think. American people are exodus from Europe, correct? Pretty much from Europe, they moved. So exodus pretty much means a big move from one position to a different position, and take over a different piece of land. Okay, this also happens every day. Okay, for example, Apple take over Nokia. You can consider it as an exodus for Apple move here, take over this. Nokia was here, being taken over, right? Being taken over. So what is the symbolic meaning of this kind of movement? It happens daily, okay? I can tell you, this kind of thing on a small scale or large scale happen all the time.
It's not a straight line.
Not straight. For example, I can give you more examples. For example, Taiwan, we're here in Taiwan, right? Taiwan, how many ruler has changed? Right now it's...
How many presidents?
No.
A party?
Yeah, ruler.
A ruler.
The people, okay, people ruling this piece of land.
In the
right
past,
now is Kuomintang, or okay, Kuomintang, let's say. Before is Japanese. Remember? Before sometime it was ruled by Holland, Dutch. Okay? Similar to here, right? It's before this Jewish people moving to this piece of land was ruled by Palestinian, then ruled by
Rome.
yeah, Hebrew, then by Persian, see? The true question is, okay, the ruler of the land will rotate, will change. Why? Who will succeed? The question is, who will succeed? Who will succeed? According to the Bible, they say this is the promised land for Israel, right?
Yes.
But how come promised land got lost? And okay, so even if you go back to check your own country's history, you'll see this keep on rotating. Sometimes this group of people take it, then sometimes another group take it. Hey, this is just a market. So in the market, things also keep on changing, keep on rotating. What is, who decided who will succeed? God? Or something? Okay, I put this question to you. And this actually, the exodus in Western civilization is quite important, symbol. You see there are how many movies on this? Many, right? You can count it. Every 10 years they must remaking this movie. Okay. Also, I'll give you one more example. The American people moving from East Coast to West Coast. Similar? It was like California, where I live. I observed it was, before it was Indian, right? Before it was Indian, native. Then Spanish came.
Mexican.
Then the European in East Coast take carriage or whatever, overtake the Spanish, driven out the Spanish. Then right now, a lot of Asian living Silicon Valley. What's drive this change? Okay, who has the right to take this price land? Who has the right? Everybody want to, right? See, this, according to the Bible, this piece of land has flowing honey and milk. Free-flowing honey and milk. So people like this area. Yeah, you can see it's a Mediterranean climate. It's very good, easy to live place, very nice place. So the question is, who will win? Yeah, think about it, it's a market. Who will win in the market, right? Very, very important question. Who will win to take this piece of, or whatever the symbolic meaning? Actually, who will take the price of the land or price the market? Okay, we'll take break for 10 minutes.
So what actually Nokia do wrong with this kind of facts? First, they underestimate the competitors. In 2007, when the first iPhone came out to the market, the engineering of the Nokia is given this iPhone, and they thought that this will fail the market because it's too expensive to be manufactured. But it turns out they are totally wrong. The Apple take the domination of the Nokia in the smartphone, and they failed to follow what customers really need and want at that time, because based on their previous success story, they keep creating their own innovation key, and they thought that this will succeed in the market. This is like what you mentioned before. They are bonded by the golden cage, and because of that they forget about the customer needs is keep changing, and then the slow decision in this company is also caused a lot of negative impact to the Nokia, because there's too complex organization structure. So when there's a new changing market, they cannot directly take a solution or some preventive steps to prevent the competitor take over the market. They are too busy to have meeting instead of working. And then the other what Nokia do wrong is they choose, let's say, the wrong operating system, because there's a lot of critics that Windows itself is not very stable. There's a lot of bugs or still not good developed in the mobile device, and it's not very attractive for the customer. But Nokia still choose Windows instead of. Actually, they have plan B that they will use Android, but it seems that Arab never go to this plan. They still insist to use Microsoft, and as the result, Nokia never back to the domination of the market of smartphone, and the problem itself is that lack of developer for application for the Nokia itself, because Nokia, this is related to the last factors, because there's a lot of content of the Nokia itself. So the apps developer needs to adjust every apps to be suitable with the interface suitable with the Nokia product. So there's a lot of pressure, a lot of hard work for the apps developer, whereas the money is not good enough. There's a lot of development that go to the competitor instead of keep developing the Nokia's apps. And yes, this the two questions that we want to ask to the Nokia, because considering that Nokia itself a lot of trouble, but we're still choosing Nokia instead of, and we're choosing Windows instead of go to the other operating system, and what is Nokia will do for the future in order to compete with the Apple and Samsung and trying to get back their throne. And the one factor that Nokia never success is Nokia never ever success to dominate the US market. There's a lot of factors, for example, like funding in US or different consumer behavior in US, and because of that, Nokia never able to enter this market. But every smartphone that success to enter the US market become booming in global market. That's why if Nokia have another shoot, will they try to penetrate the US market and to be the global brand, or just focus on other countries to gain the market share? This is our evidence, and that's all.
So another one we can try. We would like looking forward to hear another stories from the perspective of Ying, how Ying, okay, to define to explain this kind of situation of the solution planning. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Very, very good. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the Exodus. Exodus. Sorry, Exodus is the correct pronunciation. Exodus. Why I mentioned this? Because I think this is a great symbol. Okay, has a deep symbolic meaning, which I just say it. Okay, it symbolizes market change, market dominance. This is the market people are interested. This piece of land is a market. People around it are interested to take over this piece of land because the land is fertilized and has very good weather and it's flat. So it's a good environment to live in there. That's human nature, right? You want to live a better life. Everyone wants to have a better life. But the resource is limited, only this little piece of land. The question becomes, who will succeed take over this piece of land? Just like the phone market. Smartphone makes a lot of money, right? Phone is a big, profitable market. Okay? Used to be dominated by Nokia before Apple came. Okay? So, Exodus, the real meaning of Exodus, you go to a certain place that's a nice place, you want to take it over. Moses stopped here. He didn't cross the Jordan River because, well, the Bible says a different reason, because some of their own people violates God's will or something, so God forbidden them to cross over. They have to live there for 40 years later. Actually, I think the 40 years later they get more people that are stronger, so they are ready to cross over and take over. Right? Just like Apple. Apple is actually, if you go back to history, Apple is the first one to develop PDA. Remember the failed Newton device? Isn't that's the earliest prototype of smartphone? It has a little device with computer capability, but not so much phone capability. They failed. And because that failed, Steve Jobs got kicked out of the company, remember? Then he comes back, how many years later? This time he's ready. Technology is ready. And secretively, I think he is very secretive. He didn't leak out the technology. He knows that's very important. If he leaks out this technology early on, he probably won't be that successful. Other people will see the value and mimic the thing. Then he cannot do a surprise attack on the dominant player. Okay, so Apple's success is not by accident. They work on this thing the longest. Think about it, okay? They work on this the longest. They have the deepest technology too. And they have the deepest understanding of the market. That's why they win. Okay, now back to Ying. Let's see what Ying says. This oracle called Oracle of Needing is the 5th oracle in the book. It's water on top sky. It symbolizes what? Raining. Going to rain. Okay, the cloud, water, right? On top of sky. So it's going to rain. It's going to rain. In a country like China, rain, because China is farmers, agricultural country. Okay, their main economic is focused on agriculture. So rain or not is quite important. It will determine this year is a good year or not. So it's saying the needing. Everybody wants to live a good life. So if the water comes down, this year you will have a better life. On the other hand, see, there are multiple levels of symbolization. This is water, a river. You want to cross over the river. Here's a better piece of land. Remember the Exodus? Eventually, they want to cross the Jordan River into this same Canaan. Right? So you see this is the same. There's a river. Crossing this river. This guy have very strong will, want to cross this river to take over this Canaan. Canaan, very nice piece of place. Or Apple want to take over the smartphone market, the phone market. Similar, okay? So I say the sign, the oracle of needing in I Ching is very similar to Exodus. They use even similar symbol, the water crossing that river. In Exodus, they crossed river twice. First time crossed the Red Sea, then crossed Jordan. The first time is to flee the danger. The second time is take over a nice place. Okay, so here, this sign also using the symbolic of crossing a dangerous river. River means danger in ancient time because people get drowned easily when crossing a large river. Now, I don't have time to detail describe this sign. This sign is very important and critical because it basically shows people from this side of river want to cross over, take over the current leader, become the new leader. This is new, this is old, will take over. But the new leader will be taken over by another new leader eventually, right? This cycle never ends. This guy currently leader, this newcomer take over this guy, he become here. The other newcomer will come. Think about it, see? Apple take over Nokia. Xiaomi or whatever want to do similar thing. They may not succeed, they may. The question becomes, who will succeed? Who will succeed? Okay. Who will succeed? Which one of these guys will succeed? Take over the old dominant leader. Okay, that's the key question. We'll answer that later. Okay, we see this rule first. This is Ying at the 6th place. Ying means it's a broken line at this ending place. Ending place says, when you are the clear leader, uninvited rivals will try to claim your throne. Take them seriously and all will be well. Isn't that very precisely about Nokia's situation? Do they take them seriously? Not enough. Right? No. So of course, not all is not very well. Okay. See? There's a logic here. See, if you take it seriously, all will be well. If not taking seriously, well, then not very well. That's what happened. Okay. But then I'll go back to my previous question. Who will win? Because this is happening all the time. See? Many uninvited rivals will win. Who will succeed? Anyone try? Who will succeed? Okay, very simple. Okay, the stronger one. Okay, with better technology, better preparation, better vision, understand the market better. Those guys will win. I'll use a very famous and common phrase by Darwin. Everybody knows that the species fighting for survival. Okay, who survived? That's called natural selection, right? All fighting for survival, but nature will select the strongest, or the fittest, or the most suitable to survive will survive. Here are similar. Who will take up this nice piece of land? The one which is the strongest in overall capability will take over this. Remember, I gave you another example. Who will take over California? Remember, Indian overtake by Spaniard, then by American, now by Asian. Because they are equipped with better capabilities. Each of the later comers has better capability. It's not, see, here's the difference. The Western culture would say, hey, this is a promised land for to God's people. If you follow God's way, you will get this land. That's how the Bible says, right? But Ying is more practical oriented, I said before, right? Hey, who is stronger will win. It's not determined by so-called Almighty God. It's by who is stronger. Apple win because God promised them something? Obviously not, right? So this one will trying to tell you things will change. The occupy of piece of land will change. Okay, because the current people live down there is not taking their enemies seriously, and so when their enemy or surrounding people getting stronger, they will overtake you because you have a very good piece of land.
So based on your presentation, if you can read the Chinese and the translation, we say rival. But actually, if you look at the character, it's the guest. Okay, so it's an unexpected guest, and 3 guys show up. So if I try to link to your presentation, I would say that the internal management, they are also can be the unexpected guests, but they didn't go to the cave. Okay, they didn't go to the CEO home to tell them the truth. Okay, another kind of unexpected guest is Google, right? Because they present them with an Android, and all the Microsoft present their Microsoft Windows. So there are lots of things coming to Nokia because Nokia is the leader. Everybody want to get married with them. Okay, so the message here is if you take them seriously, and then at the end, it will be okay. But unfortunately, they didn't take any one of them seriously, right?
Okay. I want to present. I want to ask another question. Okay. I read all your assignments. Okay. Professor Huang gave me your assignments. I looked at. You guys did very good analysis. Okay. Then my question is, suppose the Nokia higher level managers or CEOs saw your recommendation. Okay. What's the chance he will do your suggestions? Do you think he will follow through? What's the probability they will implement those suggestions? Anyone try?
Very low.
Very low. Okay. Okay. I think it's very low too. Okay. One reason I already gave is the golden carriage thing, right? They are living a good life already. When people are living a good life, they say, why would I want to change? I'm currently living a pretty good, very satisfied life. Although I see the danger at the door, I probably won't alert enough because it's maybe company's danger, maybe not, my personally is not in danger. Okay. There's another question. I'll show you the picture first. Paradigm shifts in technology since 60s. I did a little slides here. In the 60s, IBM was the dominant player. They have mainframes, right? Then came digital, which has mini computers. It didn't take over IBM, but have some threats on IBM. At the same time, maybe many like HP also doing mini computers, or workstations, and some micro, all those companies. Then came the PC. PC has more impact because it's cheaper. cheaper. This thing are very expensive. These are millions of dollars. This is maybe $500,000. This is only a few $1,000s. I bought my first PC, 1982 for $6,000. Okay, $6,000 IBM PC. 8086. I still remember the processor is 16-bit with 32-bit addressing, I think. Okay, it's not even fully 32-bit. Then came the internet. Then came the PDA and the mobile phones. Then eventually smartphones. You see, there's why this thing happened. The underlying power, remember the Moore's law? The semiconductor will shrink I think 50% every 18 months. There's a job work for a semiconductor equipment company, okay? So every time this thing shrinks, the power of the hardware increase. So you can shrink from mainframe to PC eventually to the smartphone could probably have more power, more processing power than the mainframe in the 60s. Imagine that. If your processing capability increase more than 1 million times. Okay, along the way, you see this change, but along the way, there are many companies. Hey, all those companies, most of those companies are failed now or went down. Don't you think all those very smart guys don't know what we know present here? They know, probably, right? They know they should take their competitors seriously. They probably know they should change. But how come they didn't? Not many can really transform themselves, right? Very rarely. IBM still doing a little bit mainframe, but they are more of a solution provider. They give you a complete solution rather than just selling hardware. It's considered a success transformation. But digital is all gone, right? Completely gone. They have so many smart people from MIT and Harvard. They don't know this. So the question is, you know this may not solve your problem. Why? Why? This is a different perspective. Even you know. So this is human behavior. Okay, I'll show you. This is human behavior. The fundamental thing is more of human behavior related to their failure. It's not knowledge. Look at this slide. I call it, I don't know how to call it, I just call it circle of destiny.
That's good.
Okay. We have a circle here, okay? 4 situations. Current situation dictates your attitude. Your attitude will dictate the method you will choose. The method you choose will dictate the results. And the result going back to change your situation. Understand? Any question about this circle? So anyone has a current situation. Any company or whatever have a current situation, that situation will have very strong influence on their attitude about problems or how they're going to solve the problems, and the result will depend on that attitude and the methods. And these results will go back to influence, change their situation. Okay, understand this circle, okay? It's very key. I give you another probe in Chinese. Chinese says a wealthy company or okay, you cannot keep fortune in a wealthy family longer than 3 generations. I don't know if you heard of this probe before. It's very, every Chinese probably knows it. Okay? Why? Why? Hey, the first generation make a fortune in the family. Then 2 generations later, most of the fortune is gone. The first generation, you think about it, the grandfather would probably teach his son the very strictly or very hard, say, hey, you should do this, you shouldn't do that, right? In order to keep the fortune, you have to follow this rule. And the father may tell the grandchildren, similar thing, but in the end, it's not effective. Why? Human nature. When you are in comfortable situation, what's your attitude? You lay back. Isn't that true? You are not motivated to solve problems. You are wasting money, okay? Enjoy yourself. So it's not that the grandfather didn't tell his children not to do this, but he cannot get the message through. I don't know, is there a way to solve this? Maybe the grandfather should throw all the money away. That may solve it. But it's very difficult to implement either. Okay, so what I want to say is this kind of thing has deeper impact on human behaviors. And you can use this kind of to judge, hey, would they do it? Would they really follow my advice? See? It's building to the human nature. Okay. This is probably too much. We'll do that. Okay. Just give you a few more. Let's go back to the bonded oracle. I'll give you a brief introduction to this one to give you 6 solutions. Okay, and the 6 cause 6 solutions. The first kind, remember this sign is lake on top water, okay? Lake on top water. Okay, lake on top water. It's almost improbable, but it's the significance of there's no water in the lake. Water is go down to the underground. So the first sign says, okay. The first sign says this is a broken line. It's Ying, okay, negative. And the first. Once it's being bonded by bare tree trunk. This should have it right here. Bare tree trunks. And as it stray into a gloomy valley, for 3 years one could not be seen. What does this mean? Okay, actually the first line actually not too bad. The bare tree trunk symbolizes jail in ancient times. See, the rounded wood. it symbolizes you are being, it sits behind the bars. Behind the bars, okay? Then, or there's three pictures, okay? The first picture says you are behind the bars. The second one saying you are into a dark valley. And again, it's a symbol. We say you are walking through a valley of death, something like that. You heard this kind of description. Means your situation is pretty gloomy, not good. So you are into a gloomy valley. Why? Again, when they describe a picture, you need to think what message you're trying to say. That means you're not in good condition. You're in trouble. The third, talk about how long this situation may last. 3 years. The 3 in I Ching means many, but not very much. Means not a short time, but not a very long time. So in roughly 3 to maybe 5 years, okay, you are not going to be seen, which means you are locked behind some kind of jail or being shunned away by the leaders, something like that. But then the question is, I'll go back to my original. What is the reason you get into this? What is the reason you get back? You have to imagine, okay? These 3 are trying to describe a bounded situation like you got into behind the bar, which actually pretty straightforward. You did something wrong, right? You did something wrong. You've been punished by jailing, right? You did something wrong, so you're bounded. So this is the first kind of being bounded. Then how can you get out of this situation? Then you imagine, if I correct myself, okay? If I correct my errors, I can be seen again. I can get out of the valley, gloomy valley. I can get out of the jail. Okay, so the first case, understand now? If you did something wrong, you misjudge or something, you misjudge the situation, or you violate law, or fits into the first case.
So what does that mean to the Nokia manager?
Nokia management, okay, again, they misjudge their competitor. Okay, they misjudge the market. So they are into a very gloomy valley, isn't it? Isn't it? So, yeah, yes, very good. Okay, so you're being bounded.
So they have to sell their asset in order to maintain enough cash to survive for 3 years.
Anyway, this basically is the first kind of being bounded. Actually, very realistic and very plain. You just did something wrong. Either your judgment, or your behavior, or you say something, all could lead to this, right? You say the wrong word to your boss, right? Get into anyway. The second one I already talked about, but I'll say it again. They use the symbol. One is being bounded by meals and drinks. Meals and drinks. Meals is nothing. Meals are regular, but with drinks means higher level of living. High living. Okay, so means meals and drinks means high living. You are bounded by high living means you are bounded by comfortable or money or something. It's you and also the second picture saying you just get a very good offer into a higher position. See, also related to the first one. It's just reinforce the first one. Hey, you got promoted to president. But that job is a very tough job. You need to work 100 hours a week. Would you take it? Would you take it? You're 60 years old. Okay, someone give you a 100-hour week job, but very high pay. Would you take it? Some people would, right? Some people would, but it may not last very long. But that's a kind of bonded situation. Then the solution it suggests is kind of subtle, okay? How could you solve a human weak nature? Basically, that's the problem. Greed. It suggested you use pray. The attitude, actually, it's the attitude of pray to think through. That's the suggestion. To think through. If you not, it's misfortune. Okay, it gives you basically two verdicts. If you not, it's misfortune. If you do, there's no blame. Yeah, you're fine. Okay, you gave up or mitigate the intensity. Okay, you lower your greed, think wisely, but again, very difficult to do. Okay, it's the human nature. But if you could do it, it will solve your problem. Okay, the third kind. Third kind, say, it's again a yin, okay, a negative line here, and the third position. If a man permits himself to be bounded by stones, okay, remember, notice, okay, the first one is by wood, second one is by money or something, or greed. Second one is by stone, harder and harder to get out. This is stone, so it's more severe, okay? And he learned names on thrones and thistles. The situation is not very comfortable. When he enters his house and does not see his wife, then it is misfortune. Okay. So the picture, well, again, you have to use imagination. This is simple, hard thing, strong thing, difficult to break. So the bonded situation is more severe. Okay, not necessarily real stone. Okay, the stone is simple. And this, you lean on the thistle and thorns. That means you're very uncomfortable. Your situation, not just bonded, also very uncomfortable. Then, if you go back to your house, you couldn't find your wife, which means what? Which means what? Yes? Which means what? Your closest ally is gone. Okay? Your closest friend or whatever, your closest ally is gone. Then, see, there are three conditions. Then the verdict says misfortune. Pretty bad. You're pretty bad situation. You don't have help. Your close friend, even your close friend is gone. closest help is gone. Okay, you run into very dangerous situations. Okay, this is very dangerous. You're about to be killed or something. all the airline are run away. Okay. Next. This one I talked about it before. Golden carriage. Okay, this is the most interesting one and also most subtle one. This golden carriage, you cannot see it basically. All right. Again, it's a shapeless thing. It's more of your background, your bring up, your value, your habit, all those things, which you depends on very much and carry you to this day. Even it's how you make money or something related to this, all this background, your knowledge. But in this situation, you have to break that in order to get out of the ground. President Ma is founded by this kind of thing. Okay, right? Here's a golden carriage carried into the position of president, right? So imagine how difficult it is for something carry you to the position of president, but then you need to break it to get out of that situation. It's very difficult because it depends on that so much before. Anyway, number 5, Yang as a fifth. Yang, okay, this is a solid line. It says, as if his nose and feet are cut off. Very bad, okay. Nose and feet are cut off. Being bounded by the hands of the high-ranking officers. Joy will come if you move softly. It is profitable for one to make offerings and libations. Again, okay, I have to explain a little bit. The fifth location is for the top leader. So like a king or emperor or company CEO sits on this fifth position. Okay, so I remember I in the beginning saying each one has a different position. This is a low-ranking officer. This is the highest ranking officer. Not the top one. Top one is already over the hill. Okay, it's more like the retired emperor or something. Retired the CEO goes to the sixth. So the fifth is. So what this describe? Top leader being bounded. Usually by who? By his immediate officer, the high-ranking officers. Okay, he himself cannot order them around. He being bounded by all those guys. And how to get out of the situation? Again, when you are, so imagine the CEO of Nokia being bounded by his department chiefs. Because why? The cell phone, the mobile phone chief say, hey, I make the most money, my voice should be louder. Instead of that guy developing a smartphone, he has no track record. What would you say? Right? The number talks. Right? I think this argument probably happened in Nokia. The guy wants to develop smartphone, argue with the CEO and say, hey, we should put more resources in my department instead of the old department, but Audubon says, hey, my sales volume is 100 times than that guy, what would you say? And the CEO said, a strong CEO may have a way to persuade or decide, but not so strong CEO, he will be bounded by his office in this situation. Okay, so this situation does happen. What's the solution here? Solution says, again, use parade. Okay, very difficult situation. You need to lower yourself. You need to think through who can help me, what should I do. Very open-minded. Very open-minded. If you have any prejudice, you're not going to make right decision. Okay, that's again, in the book of change give you this suggestion. Pray. It's not going to, again, I'll say it one more time, it's not going to a temple to pray. You pray by empty your mind. Take things very objectively, okay? That may somehow make you find the solution. Or you may say, okay, I quit, right? You're not, if you think about it, if you quit, you're probably not bounded anymore. You're free. It's just one of the probable solutions, I'm saying.
Actually, the Steve Jobs, if you think about Steve's position at this Yao, when he failed the Lisa development work, and he got pushed out, right? And so what does he do? I think he flies to India to pray.
Anyway, people will run into similar situation in their life, okay? That's how I'm saying, this bounded sign is very useful. Somehow, someday you lose, some of your way. Then this is I think it's very subtle but very, very good suggestion. Somehow you open your mind, empty your thoughts, just think very objectively. Your mind find the solution. Okay, if you have prejudice, you have predetermination, I have to do this, then you cannot make right decision. Okay, the last one. Last one is, this is a negative. Ying, okay, negative is Ying, and the 6. As if he's being bounded by creeping lines. He moves uncertainly and says, movement brings remorse. If one feels remorse over this situation and makes a start, good fortune comes. Whoa. Okay. Good fortune. Yeah. So this is, they use a symbol. You are bounded by lines. Okay. You're running to a heap of lines. So your hand and feet are bounded by this line. You could not move freely. What kind of situation is this? Can you guess? You cannot move freely when you feel very uncomfortable. You don't want to move, you move and you feel remorse. Any guess? I'll give you one example. People have depression. Right? You think about it, depression. When you have depression, you don't know what to do. You're either, you don't want to go this way, you don't want to go that way, you say, oh, this is not good, this is dangerous, this is, so depression, this is already running to depression. This is a situation, you're depression, then the suggestion says, hey, you better take action, okay? You don't want to, depression, people tends to thinking or moving in circles. Keep and cannot get up and get worse, spiral down. So the suggestion by Ying to solve this situation is that somehow you should move, make a start. Just get it out, get out of it, okay? Don't think, just think, get out of it. Then, if you can do that, then the fortune comes. If not, see, you have to use logic here. If not, you're gonna get worse and better, worse and worse, lower and lower, and what? People kill themselves. So think, okay, let's think about all this boundary situation. I think it's more like a psychology, right? Think about it. Isn't it all, this is depression, this is you open your mind, this is also you open your mind. It's all related to your thinking. This one is also your attitude. Only this one is more realistic. You're making a legal mistake or something. All these are mindset. So mindset make you bounded. Your wrong mindset make you bounded. You have greed. This is greed. Okay, now I pose one more question here. Do you have other kinds of bounded situation not described by these 100 words? I challenge you. The only 100 words here. Describing human behavior of being bounded. Greed, depression, by other people's power, or you cannot think clearly, or by your own background. So encourage you is your own background. Think about it. Okay, any other bounded situation not described here? Okay, I couldn't find. Okay, myself. See, that's why I say this is a very fascinating book. Use only 100 words. Describe one kind of problem very deeply. Even provide solutions. Any question? No? Okay, yes.
From the part one in this book, is divide the people behavior into 8 types, right? You said that like for the leg mean happy and other like what?
Okay, what's the question?
The question is it similar to the Enneagram in the psychology? You know
I'm not familiar with that, but the symbolic meaning in I Ching is rather intuitive rather than very definitive. Okay, so it's kind of difficult saying now go back to lake or water is getting harder, right? It's more about this inner part is danger, right? Your thoughts is not proper, okay, or not thoughts are not proper leads to an outside prepared to be happy. If your inside is not properly thinking, outside are pretending to be happy. It's a conflict. It's probably the cause of this bonding. The psychology is not in right state. Okay, so again, this is a deeper kind of interpretation. I Ching is the most difficult part is this symbolic meaning. You have to use intuitively, but still can catch and interpret their words. I would imagine if you randomly interpret, it won't be correct. Okay, I can tell you. If you randomly interpret, it's not correct, and you cannot use it properly. Any other question? Yes, he used 8 different kind of symbols. Each of the symbol carries actually more than one meaning. Okay, one perspective of meaning. The first kind is the natural things, like lake, water, fire. Okay, but on the other hand, you also capture it has the spiritual meaning. Means when water shows here in the lower position, water means danger, and lower position means your thoughts. Your thoughts is not proper. Okay, you have to interpret that way. Thoughts is not proper. Outside behavior is trying to be happy. It's a conflict. Okay, it's a conflict. Any more question? Not one more.
In the original version of this book, the author he put the oracles and then he explained why they are there. Or he tried to explain the rules, or these rules that are interpreted by persons later on.
Okay. There's a history of how this book written. Okay. Originally, only have the Bagua, okay, the trigrams, 8 symbols. Originally, that's probably exists like 5,000 years ago. Probably. Okay, we don't have hard evidence, but according to the scholars, they say the trigram exists 5,000 years ago. Then at the Zhou Wenwang, okay, Zhou dynasty, which is about 3,200 years ago, he stacked up two of this trigram together to produce the 64 oracles. Okay, so there's a change. And initially, he only had this one, the top line. Doesn't have the each Yao's description. Okay, initially he only had this phrase to describe the whole oracle. Then his son added for each of the position as this. So elaborated the oracle into 6 more types. Okay, and then the book is complete by about 3,100 years ago. 3,100 years ago. And the content really didn't change much. Really didn't change much. It's amazing.
So the question, one question I have for the audience is, this is a course of risk management and innovation, right? Change. Okay. So so that after 3 hours, do you find a connection? Or get more confusion?
It seems like it's so abstract, and our daily life, our own situation is so tangible. And this too seems like there's a big gap for the beginners to try to understand the abstraction part. So I guess it's from the people who are studying this one, how do they help the people beginners from the very tangible situation and get to that abstract?
Okay, I'll try to answer this. Okay, first of all, why this book written this way, right? Why you write a book? Okay, from nowadays people say, why do you write a book so hard to read, right? You say, why don't you write a book fully spelled out, right? Why do you write this way? Huh? It doesn't make sense, right? You write a book, you want people to read and understand. That's we thought. But imagine, 3,200 years ago, we don't have pen and pencil or paper, or the only way to write down something is carving stone or carving metals is the method. But that's a lot of effort. So when the tools, remember the tool determine your method or your productivity or something. So they have this limitation of writing things down. Then, so the editor, okay, I think the editor say, hey, we're gonna create this book, capture all our knowledge about human behavior with as little as words possible. I think that's their editorial guideline, because they are limited by their tools and technology. And, well, they succeed, but it's very difficult to read also. However, they leave a lot of clues in their book. The book is highly structuralized. Highly. Remember, you see there are binary systems, one level after another. Also, the trigram, the symbol are they have a lattice structure in the book actually. The oracle has lattice connection. The oracle which has connection, or the line has connection, the description will complement each other. So you can verify whether your interpretation is right on or not by looking at the other end of the description.
Actually, I feel like like the expert system, it's been there for like 20, 30 years, but it's so hard to get to really useful, because any decision tree, it gets very, very complicated. I mean, we know the expert system a long time ago, right? The physician, but how many doctors really using the expert system?
Okay. Yes, okay.
Because the real world is so complicated.
Well, I'll give you one more excuse. Okay, one more excuse. This book, okay, exists 3,200 years. However, okay, if you understand Chinese history, Chinese is a highly strong censorship society, okay? Very strong censorship society. Even today, in China, still highly censored. So scholars, even they understand this thing, they cannot say it free. It will endanger their life. The emperor doesn't like your interpretation, they will kill you, okay? So that's pathetic, I think. Okay, pathetic. The Chinese Bible has no no good interpretation or no good book to read and you can understand in a few hours. There's a political reason behind it, okay? You cannot find such book because of the censorship in the society, in the political system. Okay, so, and we are trying to change that.
So I think the one way by the way, this is the first time I heard the Tien present the Book of Chant in English. Okay, I'm very surprised. It's so great to do that. And but I'm trying to connect your presentation and this particular oracle, right? So one challenging, and I would like to give it to Tien is, look, you make a presentation and you make a recommendation to the Nokia management. Right? So what additional suggestion you can derive from this oracle, and that is not covered by your presentation, right? And in a more concrete way, not this abstract way, right? So because the reason I love about Book of Change is I feel that when I look at this oracle, look at this oracle, and then look at the problem statement, I feel I can come out different way, different angle to make my recommendation to the Nokia manager. If I didn't go through this way of thinking, I would miss something. So it's really hard for you guys to just make the connection, right? So I think that what I hope to see is Tien, you look at this oracle and you can come out with
I think 3 hours is too fast.
I know.
Okay, they just got something into their head, right? It's not easily digestible. I would think that's the thing. It's not something, but to digest it in short time is not possible.
No, but I think that will be the one that they will look for the response.
I would say go back and think about it. Write down your questions, which we can discuss next time. Whatever your question about this we talk about today, just write it down. You ask, I try to answer your question.
Yes, in my case, I feel like in this book we can see like the way how can we like find by ourselves the other manner how to solve issues. For example, in the Nokia case, because if the managers of Nokia, they will not follow our recommendation, but if they can follow the way that they can find their own recommendation for themselves, they will believe in their own recommendation, and they can find a different way to thinking. So I think this book is more like philosophy of taking decisions by itself, instead of like following the general guidelines somehow.
You can use both ways. If some advisor knows this, he can advise the whatever his boss, but can the boss take it is a different question, right? Can the boss take it is a totally different question. Okay, that's it. Thank you.